guys, this is the last video in this series about mortgage market, right? And what I want to do now is to actually speak about how you calculate mortgage payments, right? So I'm going to speak about two types of mortgages, and then, if you're curious, you can read more, okay? So we're going first to speak about the fixed rate mortgages, okay? Say you have a 30-year conventional, right? So 30 year till maturity, and then here you have basically monthly payment. So what is the logic behind how to evaluate the payment? So the logic is actually pretty straightforward. You are paying X amount monthly. Okay. Now, the mortgage, right, itself is basically some principal P. Now, and with a coupon, let's say the coupon C. Okay. Now, what the bank says, okay, that I'm going to issue this mortgage at par. So the price of the mortgage equals to its principal. So this is principal, right? But it is also the price. So it means, okay, that if somebody else wants to buy this mortgage from the bank, it has to pay the principal. Mortgages are always sold at par, right? The principal equals to its price, okay? Now, if it's equals to the price, we know that the coupon must be equal to the yield. And then, using the principal annuity formula, you know that the following is true. X times 1 divided by 1 plus y to the power of n, right? Divided by y must equal to p. And what is n? Okay? N is your time, basically, right? So, for example, if this is a monthly payment, okay, and your N is 30 years, how many months you have in 30 years? You have 360 months. So N is going to be equal to 360. Now, if your mortgage, right, let's say is not paid monthly, but it's, let's say, paid biannually, right? So every 2 months, every 6 months you get a payment, and let's say that it's actually 10 years mortgage, right? So every half a year you actually pay to the bank a certain amount, okay? So it's biannually, so then it's going to be N is going to be 20, right? So this N is actually the maturity, encodes the maturity of the mortgage, right? This Y equals to the coupon, right? And this X is basically your monthly payment. So from that, if you know P, you can actually solve for X. You can say P times Y divided by 1 minus Y plus Y to the power of N equals to X. So given P, given Y, and given N, you can actually find the mortgage. So for example, right, assume, right, that you have P equals 300K. Okay, your N is going to be 5%, so it's a 5% coupon, right? And then it's a monthly mortgage. So in this case, what will be your Y? Okay, because this is annual, right? This coupon is annual, right? And then you have, let's say, 30 years, so you have 360 months. Okay, your coupon will, or your yield will not be the 5%, but it's going to be 5% divided by 12, which is around whatever, 40 basis points, like 0.04, a little bit more than 0.04 per month. Okay? So now, if you want to use this formula, right, to find how much you're going to pay, you're going to say, okay, P is my 300,000 times my 5%, so it's 5% divided by 12, divided by 1 minus Y plus 0.05 divided by 12, but to the power of 360. And this around is going to be equal to around $16.10. So if you have 300,000 mortgage with a 5% coupon, you're going to pay $1,600 or $1,610 and the change here per month. Okay? Now, what is very interesting to observe is what is the relationship between the principal and the interest in this payment, okay? So this payment includes interest plus principal. How much principal you are going to pay, let's say, the first month, okay? So this is actually easy. So you have 5% divided by 12 times 300,000, okay? This is around the money that you are going to pay the first time that you pay, right? You will pay whatever interest is that, right? Now, how much principal you are going to pay? You are going to pay 1610 minus this 300,000 times 5% divided by 12. Right? So whatever you pay here as your principal, as your interest, this is your interest. You subtract from the payments, and whatever is left is going to be your principal. Now, the graph is actually extremely interesting. This is actually a very interesting graph. So with your permission, let me erase it here, right? And the graph, which kind of describes how much payment of principal and how much payment of interest you pay every month, right, until the end of the mortgage, is actually goes like this. So this is going to be your interest, and this is going to be your principal. So this is your interest, and this is your principal. So at the beginning, right, at the beginning, most of the payment is going to go to the interest, right? Most of the payment here is going to go to the interest. Now, as years goes by, this is N, this is time, right? As time goes by, okay, the amount of interest that you are paying on each monthly payment drops until it drops to almost zero, right? As the last payment, and the bulk majority of the last payment is going to be interest, principal. Is going to be principal, all right? So the bulk majority of the last payment is going to be principal, and here you have like a break point, right? Where somewhere in the middle, okay, you kind of have that the amount of principal and the amount of interest that you are paying, it equals. Now, it's not in the middle. It's not like 15 years, but it's actually around 17 in this case. I mean, it depends, it depends on your mortgages, it depends on your payment, how much you're paying. Now, one thing to remember, okay, that the more principal, that the more interest you pay at the beginning, the faster you're going to pay off the mortgage, right? So that's why you can do the following trick. Let's say you have a monthly payment. However, you can pay daily, right? Say here, right, you have 1610. Okay, you divide by 30. Let's say you pay 40. You pay like $55 per day. Okay, so every time you pay $55, okay, you subtract from the interest that you need to pay for the next payment, and then it will go to the principal. Okay, so if you do that, what is very interesting that you're not going to pay off the mortgage, right, in 30 years. In 30 years, you are paying off the mortgage if you have these 360 months, right? So you're paying it every month like a clock, okay? If you are actually paying it daily, you are actually going to pay off the mortgage, let's say in 25 or in 20 years. And why is that, right? Because this curve is going to accelerate down much faster, and this curve is going to accelerate up much faster, right? So every payment, right, you are going to pay a little bit more principal, okay, than the bank would expect, okay? So then you're going to pay the principal much faster. Now, if you could do it every hour, if you could send payments every hour, it would be even faster. But the faster you can do it, right, the better you are, okay? So that's it. I mean, I covered everything that I wanted to cover, okay? One thing before I go, right, there is a cute product called interest-only mortgage, IO, which is not already in the United States, okay? And then how does it work? So you have $300,000, right, times 5%. So this is going to be $15,000 of principal every year. And then you divide it by 12, okay? And that's your monthly payment. That's your monthly payment towards this product, right? So every year you're paying just the interest. Now, this is a very interesting mortgage. Why is it an interesting mortgage? Because suppose, right, that you have, you got somewhere $50,000, right? If you are going to have a fixed mortgage and you are going to put the $50,000 towards this to decrease the principal, right? Your monthly payment that you have contractually with the bank is not going to change, right? Because you already signed a contract that you are going to pay every year, every month, $1,610, right? It's not going to change, even if you are going to pay $50,000. The bank says, okay, here's a contract. However, in this product, right, which is it's a different feature, you are only obliged to pay the interest, right? So if you pay the principal here, right, you will immediately be rewarded, okay, by paying less principal. So for example, if you are, instead of $300,000, will pay $50,000, so your principal is $250,000, and now you multiply by 5% and divide, right? You will have 12. That's the amount of principal that you're going to pay, right? So you will immediately be rewarded, because if you take it and divide by 12, this is actually less than that, right? So if you guys, right, are disciplined, okay, and if you guys can get an IO, okay, and then pay it off in big chunks, right, you will be immediately rewarded by your payment. Here, however, right, what will happen is that the duration of the mortgage will shorten, okay, because if you are going to give $50,000 towards that, right, and you are going to still pay $1,610, right, you will accelerate the payment of your principal. Because you will accelerate the payment of your principal, the duration of the mortgage will shorten. However, the monthly payment will not decrease until the last payment of the mortgage, right? So it's a binary event. The moment you pay off, bang, from that point on, you're free bird, right? But until you pay off, okay, you have to pay $1,600 and $10 every month. All right? So that's all that I wanted to say. Hopefully, this canvas gives you, and these 3 videos gives you, a good understanding of the mortgage market in the United States, at least on the consumer level, that you'll understand what's going on. And that's my goal. And, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.